and can go into windmills. And I think there's a variety of industry here in this region, in Western PA, that will allow unions to continue to participate and raise wages in our area. A lot of the scientific area, not so much of a role to play as they do in the traditional manufacturing. We have companies, Thomas Steel in Warren, Ohio. You know, and a lot of people like me were going around campaigning and say, oh, you know, we got to move on from steel. I mean, it was more of trying to break through the culture. But here's Thomas Steel in Warren, Ohio. They make the specialty steel that goes in the solar panels. They make the specialty steel that goes into the new lithium-ion batteries. Parker Hannafin, Ohio Star Forge, I think they make a component bearing that ends up at Timken and into windmills. I mean, so we have this, that's why this is such an opportunity for us, this green revolution. We have the industrial capacity right here. So I think the unions can participate in that and thrive with everyone else.
And we are talking about the tech belt, technology, bioscience, life science, but that's not to say that Tim and I don't totally agree with what you're saying, that part of the reason we as a nation find ourselves in the economic situation that we find ourselves in is because we haven't focused on manufacturing, because we've let that part of our economy deteriorate and move overseas. And we work constantly and talk constantly about finding ways to increase our ability to strengthen our manufacturers that are still here, a lot of which are in the technology belt, but also just as a nation to encourage manufacturers and become more competitive.
Major bank in Pittsburgh is acquiring the major bank in Cleveland, and in our community, that's, I can't speak for the entire community, but I would say a lot of people see that as a negative. How does this fit in? And have you been in touch, either of you or both of you, with the leadership of either bank or both?
Well, we have. I'll let Tim speak for himself. But these, as we just talked about, are difficult economic times, and the banking and financial services industries have been as hard hit as anybody. And unfortunately for you here in Cleveland, you just saw what happened with folks who were on the wrong side of the economy. And PNC has come in, and we're working with them. And I will tell you this about PNC, just from the Pittsburgh perspective, having watched them. They're good corporate citizens. And I have every expectations that they're going to come in, they're going to become a part of your community. You're going to see them at these events. They may be here today anyway. And I think you're going to grow to like the culture and the corporate responsibility that you see with PNC. And again, it's unfortunate. We understand the job losses and so forth that go on when these types of consolidations occur. But this is happening all across the country. There's a lot of financial institutions that just went away, that weren't purchased or consolidated with somebody else, and those jobs were completely lost. So I'm willing to work with you if anyone has questions on that, if you want to get in touch with me after this event, and we can talk more about it. But I think you're going to like what you see from them.
I know Joel Ratner, who's heading our steering committee, has already met with them. So, you know, in the crisis, there's always opportunities, and the opportunity here is, as we're trying to focus on the tech belt, to have a major bank involved in trying to partner with them. I think, you know, we can create some opportunities with that. But from the tech belt perspective, our leadership has already been in contact with them.
A decade ago, this country was #1 in the world in terms of the broadband economy, the internet economy. Today we find ourselves in 15th and slipping quickly. What, in terms of your tech corridor, tech project between Cleveland and Pittsburgh, might we do to actually pilot the opportunity to once again reassert an upward trend in terms of our role in the future economy of the country and the world?
Yeah, I don't know. I can grab the exact number. $6 billion in stimulus. And I think the argument that we have here is all of the educational institutions, all the assets that we've already talked about, and the museums and everything else. That's a good reason for us to make this investment. And we have a lot of already existing lines around. So, I mean, this is a good opportunity for us. But I think it's a key component. If you're talking about sharing information and you think taking a train is a good idea to share information, it's a much better idea to have the kind of broadband capacity that you're talking about.
Hi. How do you prioritize what your goals are, and do you have a strategic plan for achieving them?
Well, I mean, part of it is to get the consultant involved, and then we're going to do a SWOT analysis of what the strengths and weaknesses and, are of all of this, and then let the community participate. And you may be asked to participate in this. We need you to, give your opinions and share your opinions. Not that anyone in here would be shy about sharing their opinions to anyone, but to share them as we're trying to put this whole package together. And that's going to be a key. This has got to be organic. And so it's not for Jason or I to say what the priorities are. It's for what this region's coming together, the leadership, through the help and facilitation of our steering committee and the consultant to come to grips with what those priorities are going to be.
I'd like to mention, I gave you the wrong name for next week's speaker, next Friday's speaker. It is Aaron David Miller, and I hope you'll join us to hear Mr. Miller. Today at the City Club of Cleveland Forum, we've been listening to Congressman Jason Altmire and Congressman Tim Ryan. We truly appreciate you coming here today to visit with us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. This forum is now adjourned.
For information on upcoming speakers or for podcasts of the City Club, go to cityclub.org.